I want to talk about real dads today. Not fathers, but I want to talk about dads. Anybody can be a father. Take a real man to be a daddy, though. See, Father's Day changes as you get older. Sometimes being a father, just like being a mother, is a thankless job sometimes. You put your all into your kids, you don't know what you mean to them. And then, as you get older, when you're a kid, you don't necessarily understand or even appreciate what your dad is trying to do for you. But it's only when you get older, you step back, you move out the house, maybe even start a family on your own, you start to really realize, man, what that man meant to me. My dad.
The question is always asked, what does it mean to be a good father? Real father? Who's a bad father? But you know what I always wonder? Who actually sat down and taught us from we were young, from our boys, what it means to be a good father? Let me give you an example of life. We are taught young, grow up, become a good man, earn money, get some good education, use it. We are also taught, take care of your wife, your girlfriend, take good care of your children, become a better man, be the best man you can be. And nobody understands that the day you become a father, none of this works. You know why? Women have always been given a lot of prenatal care, prenatal advice, motherly advice. They have mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, girlfriends, a whole support system. Even when they go to the doctor, the OBGYN sits down and will always be able to advise them. Men sit there sometimes, able to sort of give a listening ear, ask some questions, and get some answers. But who prepares you for the moment you're alone with a newborn child? What are you supposed to do? Google what happens when the child starts crying? Who do you call? Who do you call? As a man, who do you call? You call your brethren. Your brethren who says, bro, I don't really know, hold on, let me ask my mother. You need to understand something. Let's go a little further. Who understands what it's like to tidy, that we say, tidy, care for a newborn child? Who is it that's supposed to teach you discipline of a child? Because this is a little person. Yeah, this little person is 4 years old, and you've always said, oh, I want to teach my son how to ride a bicycle, and I want to teach him how to climb trees and fly a kite, and I want to teach him how to be a man. Hold on a minute. How many of us have understood what it was like growing up and being a man? You know how many of our influences, how many of our examples, our fathers, our father figures, led us with all good intentions in the wrong direction? You know what it was like when a lot of us as young men were taught to be gallus by men in this society and in any society who will look at as upstanding. We're not talking about no shut around at one part, but hold on. Yeah, let's look at that too. You know, many youths grow up in communities, and the only true idol, the only true role model, the only true example of what it means to be a man is a man who walks in the community. Everybody walk behind him. Him is the leader. When him said, do this, it done. Him have the most woman will follow him. Him have the most brethren around him. Him have the most money. Him have the most power. Who told them that's not what it means to be a man? Him have 7 baby mother upon 2 different avenues, and him get ratings for that. So when you're becoming a father, what is the example of what it means to be a good father? Now, I will be the first to tell you, I didn't grow up with my father. And I grew up with a lot of different kinds of examples. There was Uncle Ivan Wally Johnson, the greatest man I think who ever lived. Was he a perfect man? Boy, closest to perfect as I could understand. Then there was Mr. Chambers. There was Henry Stinnett. There was, and I mean, if I start calling names, but I get a joke. There were also men. The first time I decided to have a drink as a young man, the first time I decided to take on cigarettes as a young man, who do you think influenced me? Powerful men, movers and shakers in the society. Because make no qualms about it. I grew uptown, and I make no apologies for that. But I can tell you that when I became a man, I started to understand a lot of it was dysfunctional. But though I saw it as dysfunctional, it fit perfectly. When I became a father, I knew exactly who I was going to be. I knew I was going to be good. Until the day good was challenged. To this day, if you ask me on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how I rate myself as a father, honestly, I think I'm struggling to get to 5. Struggling to get to 5. Maybe my children might sit down one day and say, who knows? I don't know. Maybe they might think I'm a good father. One thing I've tried my best to be is a good father and a good father figure to a lot of different children. You know why? Because in the end, I think a good father is somebody who tries to be good to all the children. If you think that being a good father means being good influence, good role model, good provider of anything, provider of money, provider of advice, provider of security, provider of counseling, provider of anything to your children and your children alone, or your immediate relatives, or the children of your friends, no, that's not it. And if you think that the amount of material gifts and gains that your children have makes you a good father, no. I personally think a good father is a man who children can count on in that moment. They know, call daddy, he'll get it done. Call daddy, he'll try to get it done. Call daddy, he'll do everything to get it done. Being a good father is not an achievement. It's not a trophy. Being a good father is almost like running an unending marathon. You go over the hill, you go up on the street, you go downhill. You go all the way to the top, all the way down to the lows. You go over hurdles, you go through mud, swamp, gunshot and warfare, bombs, peace. You go through a lot. And hopefully in the end, what your children gain from it is that they too understand that he was not perfect, man. But he was the best version of a man he tried to be. What does it mean to be a good father? It means that you try all the time to be better. It means that you make mistakes. Whole heap. I want to say whole heap of them. I mean whole heap of them. It means you also have to understand that the women who have these children, they too are human beings, which means they're different, which means you can't necessarily count on them to tell you exactly what your thoughts are and that they align with what you are up to. They might not agree with your discipline, they might not agree with anything else, but I tell you this much, what it means to be a good father is a work in progress. Never give up. Just keep trying. It don't matter how bad you think you've been in the past. It don't matter how good you think you are in the present. Keep trying. Here's to the story. That's Rodney's story.